What is good? This is a Nuchannel Sports Takedown. You know what it is. This is a solo dolo. Back at it again with your host, Chris. You know how I do. I like to get straight into the takedown. This one's a little different. Has a little international love. I already started singing, y'all. Already, bro. This one's international love, man. The Euro 2020s have begun. And if you don't know, I am a huge football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, fan. And I want to do a takedown giving you my 5 top teams going into the Euro 2020. For my American fans out there, people who are not fans of the beautiful game, you may ask, the Euro 2020s. We're in 2021. Well, there was that thing called the pandemic, you remember? Yeah, we're still in the middle of that. So the tournament was supposed to be played in 2020, but it wasn't played in 2020. It was pushed to 2021, but they're still holding that moniker for the name because the tournament is held every 4 years. So why mess things up and call it 2021 and then come back in 2024? It'll be a mess. So I get it. Euro 2020s. I'm super excited. You should be super excited because this tournament field is a phenomenal field, number one. But other than the World Cup, I hate to admit this because I'm a big soccer fan. I love AFCON in Africa. Shout out to my Africans. CONCACAF can go somewhere else. I'm sorry. You have CONMEBOL in South America that has wonderful talent every single go round. I mean, there's always a South American team that's favored, if not the favorites, to win a World Cup. Brazil, Argentina, even Colombia as well. They have a great, rich history. Uruguay has a great, rich history as well. But when the European teams get together, man, it's a beauty to watch. And quite frankly, a lot of it is because a lot of black people on the pitch, man. Let's call it what it is. Or a lot of African players playing for these European teams, just like the African players that play for the United States. For my American fans listening in, you think of a Gucci Onyewu. That's an African guy, but he played for the United States. Daryl DK, he's coming up as a striker. We know he plays for the United States, but that name is a Nigerian name, and the list goes on and on and on. But I digress. Let's get to the top 5 teams. In my opinion, these are the top 5 teams who I have. So my number 1, I'm saying that team's going to win. I'm going to give you 5 teams who I believe have the best shot at winning it, and you may call me crazy, but I don't care. I love soccer. Here we go. Number 5, England. I'm laughing because my English fans are like, I was about to do an English accent. I won't do it because mine is terrible, but I would do it. I'll do it in an American accent. What I believe an English person would say is that you're out of your mind, mate. That's what I think they would say, because the English contingent believes that this is their year to win a major tournament. They won the World Cup in 1966, and since then it's been, well, heartbreak after heartbreak, particularly in the penalty shootout. But I believe they're number 5 heading into the Euro 2020 edition. They have so many great attacking players. Harry Kane, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, Mason Mount from Chelsea that just won the Champions League, Phil Foden, they just lost in the Champions League with Man City. We know the attacking talent, and they have that all the time. The midfielder attacking players, you think back to John Terry, and well, he's not really attacking, but you get my point. Frank Lampard, they've had good players in the midfield. They've had good striking players, but this team's a little different because they have a defense, right? So many right back and left back options. I mean, it's just all over the pitch. We know Trent Alexander-Arnold was injured before the Euro 2020 began, but they still have great talent there. Stone from Manchester City is going to be a big player for this English team. But they have so much talent. The reason why I have them number 5 is because it's one of those, England as a country, right? You got to show me, bro. You got to show me, because they've come into these tournaments as favorites, and before I've seen this movie before when you expect them to do really well and they flounder late, right? This team is a little different, though. You think back to the World Cup with Kieran Trippier's free kick, and they were minutes away, really a Harry Kane miss away from going to the World Cup final. So they have what it takes. They have the grit, but at the same time, it's the expectations with England. Because that English team in the last World Cup in 2018, there were expectations, but they weren't necessarily expected to win the World Cup in Russia. So without those great expectations, they were able to flourish. We're coming into this Euro 2020. Everybody knows who England is, and the target is on them. And I don't like England when the target is on them. That's what it comes down to. I'm just not a fan. I like Gareth Southgate. They have plenty of talent, but there's something about England when the pressure mounts. They just have not come through as a nation in this particular sport. So for me, they're number 5. I'm not saying they can't win it. They're my top 5. They're my top 5. So anybody who's listening and says, you stupid American, what do you know? Go back to talking about basketball and American football. You're wrong, because I'm a big, big fan of the sport. They're my number 5. Number 4, my favorite non-American, non-Nigerian team is probably, well, maybe after Brazil. So like my 4th favorite nation is Italy. I love Italy, man. At least the way they play. You know, they got some racist fans out there. We'll talk about that on another day. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the way the nation plays, oh my God, right? Other than Brazil, they really do. Italy displays the beautiful game. The way they play. They are a defensive-minded team, and they really always have been that way. Thinking back to even the shocker when they shocked Germany in the 2006 World Cup during that semifinal with those 2 amazing goals in extra time. They are a defensive-minded team, and this team honestly is no different. But the difference with this particular Italy team is they do have the players going forward when there are opportunities to score. You think back to the Mario Balotelli days. That Italy team, they didn't win a major trophy, but they were freaking close. Why? Because they had that attacking player when they switched it from offense or from defense to offense, right? It was a goal, those opportunities, and they have that with this current Italy squad. You look at Immobile, right? I may be saying his name wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. He's a wonderful player, and when he gets the ball in space, when he gets the opportunity, he will score. And for me, Italy and England, they're both a toss-up. That's why they're 5 and 4 for me. But the reason why I go with Italy is because in big moments, they just seems to be prepared. I know it's different players, but there's something about putting on your national jersey and all the traumas and horrors of the past. Those players wear them. It's just, that's why I love national football or soccer. I love it because when you put on that jersey, I understand the players say, well, I wasn't on the 2018 squad. I wasn't on the 2004 squad. 2006 squad. I get that. But you watch them and the country remembers. There's something about Italy winning big games at big moments, and they're a country when they're not necessarily talked about, they do really well. In this Euro edition, I think a lot of people would agree that Italy is one of the favorites. If you're in my top 5, obviously you're one of the favorites. But Italy is not the team people talk about a lot. I wouldn't call them a sleeper. They're certainly not a sleeper in this World Cup. My number 3, I believe, is truly a sleeper somehow, some way. But for Italy, I like them at number 4. They have a good chance of winning this tournament, and I think they're better than England, which is why they're my number 4. I don't think they're better than my top 3. I think my top 3 are really, really heavy favorites, in my opinion. But Italy is a phenomenally coached squad, and you know what they're going to do. They're going to defend in spades, and when it's time to attack, they play a beautiful brand of football. So my number 4 goes to Italy. Get ready for the top 3. Let's get ready for the top 3. My number 3 is Germany. I cannot remember a tournament in my entire life. And I've watched a few. I'm not too old, but I'm not that young. I cannot remember a tournament where Germany was involved where they were less talked about than the Euro 2020s. And for the life of me, I can't understand why. They still got Jurgen Loh. They still got Mr. Loh. And we know what he can do. His team rarely disappoints. Everybody has that World Cup lapse, right? After you win a World Cup, for the most part, we see teams time and time again go out in the group stage of the next World Cup. But I'm not sure why they would hold that against Germany in the Euro 2020s. Now, I know you have Timo Werner, who cannot score a goal for the life of him at sometimes, but he's a phenomenal player. He makes runs in spaces. His teammate at Chelsea, Kai Havertz, is on that team. You have Sané, who's obviously awesome. It's Germany. It goes back to putting on that jersey. I can't for the life of me understand why Germany has been talked about so little in this lead up to the Euros. They're just not talked about like the heavy favorites. I know they're in the group of what I would call death. They're in the group of death, and it's a tough group. But the beautiful thing about the Euros is the top 3 teams in most groups make it out. In fact, there's only 2 top 3 teams in the group stage that finish in the top 3, they don't make it. So for the most part, even in a group of death, there's a chance to get out. And I don't see Germany not getting out of that group of death. I don't see it. Germany is phenomenal. They have young talent. They have older players. It's a good blend. The problem for Germany in the last World Cup is they had a bad blend. They brought back everybody who won them in 2014 in Brazil, and they just looked old in Russia. They ain't look good at all. They lost to Mexico. No offense to Mexico, but it wasn't a beautiful game at all. The Sweden game was dope. That's one of the games of the World Cup with that free kick in the end to give Germany a chance to get to that final game where they lost inexplicably in their final game. And a lot of people are still have that in their minds. But Germany is Germany, and that's all I can say. If nothing else, Germany is Germany, and I can't believe they're being talked about as if they don't have a great chance to win it. I know they're always going to be a favorite, but they're just not being talked about enough, and I could dare call them a sleeper in this tournament because just they're not getting the same talk that in England does. Somehow England always gets a lot of talk, or even in Italy. So Germany is my number 3. All right, now I'm going to get a little controversial because there's really only 2 countries left where you can think, okay, I can see why he has them as his top 2. My number 2 is the last World Cup winners in France. I call them Afro-France, right? The French side of Africa, right? That's what they got. I mean, you look at N'Golo Kante, who I believe is the best player in the world at this point right now. That man is the best player in the world. What he did for Chelsea in the Champions League against Real Madrid and against Manchester City was phenomenal. Just the best player on the pitch. He's likely to win the Ballon d'Or. If that's how you say it, man. I'm American, man. So if that's not how you say it, it's like, that's not how you say it. I don't know what accent that was, by the way. I don't know what that was. But I'm doing my best, right? But I do love the game. It's a beautiful game. And France is amazing. N'Golo Kante is amazing. But it's not just N'Golo, of course. You have Kylian Mbappe. You have Karim Benzema, who's come back from exile, but he still has those legal issues going on. They did have a little shake-up, a little dust-up prior to the Euros with Olivier Giroud and Kylian Mbappe. I don't know what was going on there, bro. I cannot understand what Giroud was thinking going after Mbappe. Because, us young cats, man, we a little sensitive, man. What were you thinking going after possibly your best teammate? Essentially saying he doesn't pass the ball enough. From what I hear, they've squashed it, but that's one of those things where you don't want that leading up to a major tournament. But France is loaded, bro. I mean, France is loaded, and Didier Deschamps has this, just a luxury of talent. Mbappe, Kante, those 2 guys alone are phenomenal. And then you add in a Benzema who took a little knock prior to the Euros. I hope he's healthy because I'd love to see him in a France uniform again. You have Antoine Griezmann. They're just wonderful. France is wonderful. And it's hard to see them being beat. I'm just going to be very honest. I'll be honest with you. It's hard to see France being beat. They have that same vibe that they had in 98 in the 2000 Euros when they won the 98 World Cup. Came back and won the 2000 Euros and were the best team in the world. This French team can do it. They're number 2 on the list. They can do it. They're awesome. They're phenomenal. And the thing I love about France is, I mentioned it even talking about them, is they got a lot of African players. So as a fellow African American, it is good to watch them. It's good to watch my people represented. What would a French team look like without a lot of the African representation? Answer that question. I don't know how they look. I'm not trying to get into no debate. I'm just asking a question that you should have asked yourself. All right. So I'm gonna let well enough alone in that and move on. But they are my number 2. They have a great chance of winning this Euros. If they won it, nobody would be surprised. But my number 1 is my number 1 is my number 1. And it's my favorite team heading into the tournament. I'm actually rooting for them because I'm picking them to win, so that they better win and make me look good. Because this will be a great takedown to come back to and say, I told y'all this team was going to win this tournament. And this team, you may say, Chris, how can you have this opinion? But I'm going to have it. The golden generation gets it done. And the Euro 2020s, I'm going with Belgium. Going with Belgium. They're not as good as defensively as they were in the past 2 tournaments, the last Euros and the last World Cup. But I don't care. I'm picking this team. Romelu Lukaku is going to put those guys on his back because I believe he is the best striker in this tournament as far as being bang on in form. He helped Inter win the Serie A this year. He's in a fantastic position to leave Inter if he wants to, considering the money issues that they have. It seems like he's going to stay, but that doesn't matter. He is in a good place in his life, and Romelu Lukaku will carry Belgium to win the 2020 Euros. But of course, it's not just Romelu Lukaku. You have Kevin De Bruyne, who I believe is the best passer in the game. This dude is so good. I play not a lick of football. I'm terrible at football, right? Both American football and football, period. But I'm terrible at soccer. Absolutely garbage. Garbage. I truly believe if I played with Kevin De Bruyne in an entire season, let's say put in a Premier League season with Man City, I'd score a goal at some point because this guy is a beast. He might be the best passer I've ever seen. Seriously. He is amazing with the ball at his feet. His free kicks are also amazing. We know that. But it's just, he doesn't get enough credit. And I don't know why. I just don't know why. When we talk about the best players in the world, we talk about Messi. We talk about Ronaldo. We talk about a lot of different players, but we don't necessarily mention Kevin De Bruyne. And that's what I don't really get. I don't understand it. It's beyond me. I'm glad that N'Golo Kante, who I talked about earlier, is getting his love. And I'm glad that other players are talked about other than Messi and Ronaldo, but you just don't hear enough about Kevin De Bruyne. And he is, in my opinion, again, it's my opinion, he's been one of the best players in the world for the last couple of seasons, and he just doesn't get his hay. I'll say the one knock against him is sometimes, in the biggest of games, he does tend to be a little quiet. But with Lukaku playing the way he's playing, De Bruyne on form, you will hope that the Eden Hazard of Chelsea shows up versus the Eden Hazard of Real Madrid. Because that dude, boy, oh boy, Real Madrid fans want him gone. They want him gone. The best way I can explain it for my American fans who, let's say American football, you have a guy like an Albert Hainsworth. I'm not trying to knock the guy. He's been retired for years. But when he was with the Titans, he was phenomenal. He was great. Then he got that big, massive contract with the Washington Redskins, and it didn't end well. That's what I would compare Eden Hazard with Chelsea versus Eden Hazard with Real Madrid. So I have Belgium winning this tournament. I have this golden generation getting it done. And I'll tell you why. I have a little bit of bias with this golden generation. I believe that the United States has a golden generation. You know, I had to plug the States at some point in this video. The United States is in a golden generation now. They just have a Champions League player, winner in Christian Pulisic. They have Weston McKennie. He's awesome. Sergio Reyna, Sergio Dest. They have so much talent. They're not going to win the next World Cup. But 2026, come 2026, that golden generation has a wonderful chance to do something special. I love golden generations, and I like to see golden generations win. It's just beautiful to watch, to see talent coming up together and seeing them win. So part of the reason why I'm picking Belgium is, kind of that good karma. Let's get that good karma going for these golden generations. If Belgium can get it done, maybe in 2026, the United States gets it done in the World Cup stage. But there you have it, my top 5 teams head into the Euro 2020s, who I believe will have the best shot at winning. Gave you England, Italy, Germany, France, and then my favorite to win it all, in Belgium. Do at me. At me. Let me know how crazy I am. Tell me that I know nothing about this and I just stick to basketball and American football and whatever else I want to cover, but don't touch your soccer anymore. Don't touch your football anymore. Let me know how terrible this list is. I'm here for it. And as always, you can always check out our podcast. Oh, yeah, we have some great podcasts. We have podcasts where you can check us out on our website, nuchannelsports.net. That's spelled nuchannelsports.net. You can check out our podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there. And we are also on Afro Vibes TV, having great shows on the Nuchannel Sports Show there. You can stream Afro Vibes TV on the website, or you can do it through your Roku or wherever you listen, or however you watch your apps on your television. Afro Vibes TV is there. You can stream us on there and watch our shows each and every single week, and you can see our beautiful faces on there as well. We have articles I'm writing for the Lead now for the Rockets. You can catch those articles on the leadsm.com or on Bleacher Report. You can catch me on Twitter, Chris at Nuchannel1, or our main Twitter page, Nuchannel Sports, or you can catch us on Instagram, Nuchannel Sports. So you catch all the ways you can get with us? Get on the train, man. What you waiting for? Subscribe to this video, smash the like button on this video. Appreciate us for what we're doing, and we'll always give you more content. Thank you so much for listening. As you know how I always end these videos, stay safe, y'all. Please stay safe. Peace.